When night shrouded the world in its shroud, with the sound of rain, he came to me again. The night guest who appeared in my dreams. And every time the sound of raindrops pounded on the roof, he came to tell me his story. He was tall and thin, with sharp facial features hidden in shadow. His eyes were deep and magical, like a window to another dimension. Every time he appeared, it drove me crazy, but I couldn't deny myself this strange pleasure. This night, he came especially early. I jumped up, startled by his abrupt appearance. "Good night, my friend," he said. His voice sounded soft and mysterious. "Who are you? What do you want with me?" I asked, trying to hide my fear. "I am a traveler between worlds," he replied. "I have come to tell you a story that took place in the distant past. It is a story of mysticism." Curiosity won out in me, and forgetting my fears, I prepared to listen. His stories always penetrated my soul. "There was a man who lived in an ancient castle on a hill," he began. "The castle had long been considered cursed, and its owner was banished from society. One day, on a full moon, he gathered his faithful disciples and invited them to the library. There he showed them a secret door that led to a mysterious room. The room was filled with books and artifacts granting supernatural abilities. He told them that one day one of them would be his successor and would receive all of his knowledge and power. However, to become his heir, they had to go through a series of trials. I couldn't move. The story was fascinating, and I was eager to find out what trials awaited the disciples. The first challenge involved an incredible journey through time that was not only exciting, but also quite dangerous. The disciples, loyal and dedicated, were tasked to travel back in time and change the course of events to prevent the imminent death of a major historical figure. The disciples' hearts burned with the fire of determination, and they undoubtedly accepted the challenge, ready to overcome all obstacles to preserve the life of this significant person. With courage and determination, they ventured into the past where they encountered dark secrets and unknown dangers. They fought against time, striving to change its course in order to preserve the life of a historical figure. With wisdom and ingenuity, they found a way to influence the events intertwined in the past and manipulate them in their favor. After long and arduous efforts, the students finally managed to achieve their goal. They were able to successfully complete this incredible challenge and returned back to the castle where they were eagerly awaited. The victory was not only their own, but also that of the teacher who relied on their dedication and skill. Now that the test had been successfully completed, the students felt proud and confident in their abilities. They realized that nothing is impossible and that courage and dedication can overcome any obstacle. However, the second challenge proved to be much more difficult and intricate than the first. Not only did they have to descend into the depths of the castle's dungeon, but they also had to unravel the most mysterious and shrouded secret of all: the secret of eternal life. Most of the unfortunate students, full of determination and hope, perished during the ordeal, facing dangers and traps that beckoned them at every turn. However, despite all the hardships and losses, the few brave ones who survived and remained were able to overcome all the difficulties and obstacles that stood in their way and finally achieved the cherished goal of gaining access to the eternal life they had sought and dreamed of attaining for so long. His story was filled with details, and I was completely immersed in such an exciting adventure. However, the most difficult challenge was the last one. They had to solve a riddle that gave access to full magical power, and only one of the apprentices was able to pass this test. This student, strong and intelligent, set about solving the riddle with full determination. He thought long and hard, going through various answers. Eventually, after many failed attempts, he finally found the right solution. The magic word that opened the door to magical power before him was uttered by him with such confidence that the entire world shuddered at its power. The light blinded everyone present, and when it dissipated, the disciple found himself surrounded by swirls of magical energy. He was now the possessor of full magical power, capable of fulfilling his every wish. I held my breath. not wanting to miss a single detail. Since then, the cursed castle became his only refuge, and he himself acquired all the knowledge and exorbitant power of his predecessor, and strengthened it threefold. However, as the years passed in that gloomy place, he gradually realized that the powers he had gained did not bring him a single drop of happiness, but only further increased his deep loneliness and sadness. Determined to change his life, he left his gloomy abode and set out into the world. However, his new power proved too dangerous and uncontrollable. Whenever he felt rage or anger, his power turned him into an unrecognizable creature capable of nothing but destruction. He realized that the curse of the castle had transferred to him, forcing him to become what he feared most, a monster. His own powers had become his worst enemy, and there was no way to return to normalcy. Surrounded by darkness and despair, he realized that the only way to rid himself of this curse was to return to the castle and find a way to destroy it. He penetrated its locked walls, where only endless darkness and sinister laughter greeted him. The castle grew more and more dangerous, but he wasn't about to give up. Finally, he reached the very heart of the castle, the place where the curse had passed over him. But the curse was inseparable from the castle itself, and the castle had long since become an inseparable part of himself. He realized that the only way to break the curse was to destroy the castle, and thus destroy himself. So with all his strength, he struck, plunging the castle and himself into ruin. I woke up. The raindrops were still pounding on the window. What was true? Who is this nocturnal visitor who comes to me in my dreams? Many questions and many answers. But deep down, secretly, I still hoped that he would come back again and tell me another story.